So we've loved getting to live out here in the mountains, but we have realized that being way out here does make us vulnerable. After our generator was stolen a couple of weeks ago, I realized how easy it is for an intruder to walk onto the property without anybody knowing. So this week I am working on the property's security system so that we can protect our tools, our gear, and this homestead that we are building ourselves from scratch.
Bada bing, bada shed, buddy.
I'll walk you through exactly how I'm planning on securing this property and the simple steps that, in my opinion, make the biggest difference. So let's get to work.
And a huge thanks to Incogni for sponsoring this episode.
Now, with this project this week, I'm basically going to be working my way down the priority list that I've come up with of security improvements that'll make the biggest difference. And the first one is a really simple one, and that is making sure that there's no valuables that are easily visible. Now, when the generator was stolen, I kept it inside of this tent shed, and I would have to run it at night because I had to upload footage overnight, and so I had to power the office and the computer, and I could tell from the tire tracks that I saw after I found out that the generator was stolen that somebody had driven onto the lot and just kind of done like a loop, and then obviously saw the generator, looped back around, stopped, grabbed the generator, and left. So now that we're hooked up to the grid, I don't need to run the generator all night long, but it also means that inside of this tent shed, I don't need to have anything valuable anymore, and I don't need to keep it open at night. And also I decided to install blinds on the windows for the shed, again, just so that if anybody was just snooping around here, they wouldn't be able to see anything worth taking. One of the main things I learned, again, is just the fact that the vast majority of crime is really casual, opportunistic crime. And so for somebody to casually come onto the property to kind of look around and see what we've got, they now have to encounter this gate. This driveway is the one way to get onto our property legitimately. One thing I loved about this lot is that you can't see a whole lot of it from the road. And so in my opinion, this gate with these signs eliminates the one like legitimate way that somebody could accidentally come onto the property with an excuse. Priority number 2 is to increase the amount of time that it takes a thief to steal your stuff. And so the main way to do that is to lock things, lock them well, build doors and use doors that are strong. Obviously, you could break into this shed for sure, but it would take you a lot of time. You'd have to use tools. It would be loud, and that reduces the risk of theft dramatically. Now, something I learned is that the vast majority of rural theft especially occurs during the day, especially when people are not home and not on the property. In fact, I think that's true universally. So what I wanted to do with the locks on this door is I wanted to use a keypad that would be really easy for me to lock and unlock so that every time I leave the area, even if I'm going down there or I'm just taking the truck to the store real quick, I can lock it. So the next priority is we need to increase visibility on the property, specifically the access points. I'm going to install this motion sensor floodlight here at the gate. I want to stop the theft from happening as early in the process as possible. And so getting this spotlight to turn on the second that somebody rolls up and is like, oh, I wonder what's down there. Boom, they're lit up. I feel like that's going to be a major deterrent. So what I need to do is I'm going to mount it to this post that we have the sub panel on. I'm going to make an extension out of unistrut, so like metal, and then this will go way up here. So I'm gonna go assemble that now. First, I've got to cut the unistrut, and then I've got to cut together a wood adapter so I can actually mount the camera to this extension. So there's our motion sensor light. It triggers if anybody does anything in this entire area. Now, this motion light is also a camera. And so that brings me to the 4th priority that I've got, which is installing cameras. Now, I think that the vast majority of people think about security at least a little bit, right? I mean, you lock the front door to your house at night, you lock your car, you try to keep valuables out of sight. And that got me thinking that we put so much effort into protecting our physical space. What about our digital space? And that's where Incogni, the sponsor of today's episode, comes in. Right now, in this very moment, there are hundreds of data brokers collecting and selling your information. Your name, email, home address, phone number, even your online activity. And they're making money off of it without you even knowing. And that data ends up on people's search sites, marketing lists, and sometimes into the hands of scammers. And that's where Incogni steps in, solves this problem, and does all the dirty work for you. They contact over 230 data brokers on your behalf and demand that they remove your information. And they'll keep following up until the data is actually deleted. Plus, with their unlimited plan, you can request that they remove data from any site that you find. So if you're serious about protecting your personal data, click the link in the description below and use code Atticus to get 60% off an annual plan. It helps support this channel and it helps protect you. So this is the exact same motion sensor light camera that I just installed at the gate. And these things are amazing. The camera actually follows you, like it tracks people if it sees people. It's got a wide angle lens and a zoomed in lens. So this thing is pretty sick. I figure the most important one is the one at the gate because from the research that I've done, cameras are kind of helpful at like prosecuting and catching a bad guy if they actually steal something. But that's like the worst case scenario. The goal is to make sure that the theft never happens in the first place. I thought that like cameras should be hidden. That way the thief won't see them and so you'll get good footage of them without them knowing. But in reality, cameras operate best when they're conspicuous. So at the gate, that camera that's just like in your face and like tracking you as you're walking around, like that's a huge deterrent. Now, I am just gonna say right now that I am not showing you guys everything in our security setup. So we do have some hidden cameras and we do have a couple things going on that I'm just not gonna even explain to you or tell you about in this video for obvious reasons. But I am going to install one more of these motion light camera setups here at the shed. Here we go. This thing is sweet, dude. It'll pick me up basically anywhere on this primary part of the property. I honestly think at this point, the property is much safer at night, but I definitely have some more to do. So I'm gonna get to that tomorrow. We've now got really solid lighting that will kind of alarm intruders if they approach the entrance to the property, if they walk on the main part of the property. Now what we wanna do is get lighting that is always on and that gives this property at night a sense of being inhabited. So what I'm going to be doing is installing string lights up on these trees along the driveway. So the problem here is that I want to get these lights about 8 to 9 feet above the driveway, but these trees are down a slope. And so 8 to 9 feet above the driveway from the tree base is 15 feet, something like that. So this is probably a bad idea. If these trees were bigger, I really wouldn't worry about it so much, but there's some pretty small trees. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Come on. Oh my gosh, I'm getting hung up on everything. Okay, there we go. We're done for now. Well, as you can see, the lights are on. They're very Christmassy, so I'm happy with that. But the bummer is that I bought 2 packages of these lights because I had looked up online that you can connect 2 of them together, but not more than 2. Well, it turns out that each package comes with 2 strings, technically. And so I have 4, and so only half of them are being lit right now. So the other freaking half of the driveway, half of what I did today, is not working. But the good news is that when I turn it on to a normal white light, it really illuminates this driveway well, makes it so that the main approach path is no longer dark. So mission 50% accomplished. It is a new day. I have run an extension cord just in the freaking woods to get to where the second set of string lights begins. This is a very imperfect solution, but I'm trying to match the amount of effort and money I put into this project to like how important it is in the grand scheme of things. Burying some cable down here would be a complete nightmare. If you saw the trenching episode, you would agree with me. So luckily, the junction where the powered string lights stop is right next to another tree. But the tree that I need to end this row of string lights on is super freaking thin. And so it might be the shadiest tree that I'm gonna go up for this entire project. So we'll see how that goes. Whoa. Oh my God. This ground is so uneven. This does not feel good. Okay, string lights are on. Praise the Lord, dude. I'm so freaking thrilled. Now, on to our final priority for security, which is the cameras and alarm system for the shed itself. So I've spent the better part of the day installing a complete alarm system in the shed. We've got window sensors, we've got door sensors, we've got motion sensors, and we've got motion sensing cameras in here. So basically, if someone enters this shed when the system is activated, a loud alarm is gonna sound. Cameras are going to be watching that person and tracking and recording, and I'm gonna get notifications on my phone. Now, similar to our other 4 priorities, the goal here is the moment that someone tries to break in, that alarm is going to deter them. But if they still come in and try to steal stuff, then we've got cameras so that we can try to catch the person, right? But even more than that, the cameras allow me to check my phone real quick and to verify if the alarm is legit. One thing I do wanna note is that we do have our Bluetti batteries that power everything. If someone were to somehow cut our grid connection, that wouldn't shut down the whole security system. And I feel like that's an important aspect to any security system, is that it's not dependent on the grid. So I feel pretty darn good about our security system, but it is not bulletproof. I mean, a dedicated enough thief could certainly bypass all of the systems that we've come up with, steal a bunch of stuff and get out of here. Now, to be fair, they'd have to be pretty dang dedicated. And I feel like at this point, our risk is relatively low. And something that I learned from the years that we spent sailing the world is that you cannot ever reduce your risk to 0. But more importantly, attempting to reduce risk makes you spend time, money, and resources doing a thing that is not your primary objective. So when we were sailing the world, we wanted to sail, experience different cultures, get to experience remote, beautiful aspects of nature. So all the time and money that we spent trying to do projects on the boat to reduce our risk was all done at the expense of having those experiences that we were there to have. And that's the same exact situation here. We're here to build our future home. And this week, I didn't make any progress on that. So what I learned from sailing is that all you can ever really do is figure out a risk level that you're comfortable with, figure out an amount of money and resources that you're willing to allocate, and figure out where those two things meet, and then just decide that's the amount of risk that you're willing to take on. Now, I will say that when we first bought this property, I was really underestimating our risk. I kind of thought that the fact that we bought land kind of out in the middle of nowhere would be security enough. I didn't think that getting stuff stolen was a real risk for us, and then we had the generator stolen. And that opened my eyes to the fact that this is a real concern even out here. So while I'm not glad that the generator was stolen, I will say that I learned a valuable lesson, and now I have a more realistic sense of the risk. And now I think that we have a pretty good system in place to help reduce that risk. But honestly, more important than reducing risk, I don't really like what I've become since the generator was stolen. Like, I'm so distrustful of people now. In fact, the other day, a neighbor stopped by to introduce themselves. We hadn't met yet. And I was working and I just like stared at them down the driveway being like, what are these people doing? Are they scoping out the place? Turns out they just wanted to meet us and say hello, but they turned around and left because they said I was giving them an evil eye. And I thought it was so funny that we talked about that after the fact. And I don't want to be that person. And so in a lot of ways, our security goal here is, sure, it's to reduce our risk, but even more so, it's so that I can stop being such an a-hole and start to feel like I can be a more trusting person again.
Do you see those lights right there? Dad put those up for us. Yeah, good job, buddy. It's so pretty. Well, pretty, and I like the security.
Yeah.
Because nobody messes with us.
Yeah.
Nobody. Dad's gonna use his phone to make Christmas lights.
Look, they're Christmas lights.
They're green and red and white. And see when it turns. Oh, look, it turned on. And now Dada can watch us in the camera. Make sure we're not bad guys. And if we are bad guys, then Mommy comes out and goes, oh.
That's cool, Dad.
Oh, thank you.
So a big thanks to Incogni for sponsoring this episode, and a huge thanks to the people who make these videos possible, our patrons. You guys mean the world to us. Thank you so much.
I have been training in jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, pistol shooting, sword fighting, bazooka, launching. So we are pretty good. These lights, add to that.
Hey guys, so before we wrap this episode up, I just wanted to take a quick second to acknowledge something that's really important to me. This episode that you just watched is actually the last episode that will be edited by my very good friend, Alex Sennett, who has been our lead editor for the last 4 years. He's played a huge role in helping to shape our channel and helping us to tell some incredible stories over the years. And I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to have gotten to collaborate with him. So, Alex, thank you so much, buddy. Now, our episodes are a little behind of real time, and so just this last week, we broke ground on our workshop/small house build, which is so thrilling. It's definitely the most exciting project we've taken on so far, and it's also the most expensive that we've taken on. So for this next phase to work for us, I'm gonna start doing the editing again myself. Now, because of that transition and with Christmas coming up, we're gonna take a short 2-week break from episodes. I'm gonna use that time to get everything sorted out for the workshop. So I'm gonna order windows and doors, order trusses and all of our materials, and I need to get myself fully set up to start editing these episodes again. So we will see you guys on January 10th, where we will finally begin to work on the first major structure on our property.